All right, y'all, we back with another reaction right here on ABP Reactions, and this one is called 5 Creepy New Details in Dismembered Teen Found in David's Tesla Case. Everyone wants to know. All signs looked like it was pointing to David, but yet and still, there's no arrest. What is going on, man? What is going on? Everybody thought they cracked the case. The internet thought this was solved. They had all the evidence they presented to the world, and still no arrest. Let's see what new 5 details have emerged. Let's go.
The investigation into singer David has intensified after the body of a teenager was discovered in a Tesla that has been linked to him. From canceled tours to social media revelations, new developments are raising serious questions about their supposed relationship and the ongoing probe. We are going to break down the latest developments in this case and what law enforcement is focusing on next with a retired detective. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Okay, we finna get some detectives.
Investigation into Houston-born singer David, D4vd, real name David Anthony Burke, continues to widen after the body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found decomposed in a Tesla reportedly registered to him.
Yeah.
Authorities are still working to determine exactly what happened here, but the fallout is growing. There's an alleged former teacher of Celeste even coming forward with troubling claims about her connection to the singer, and we're going to get there. But first, we got to look back at what we know when this case first broke. We covered it here on Sidebar, but on September 8th, LAPD officers responded to Hollywood Tow on Mansfield Avenue. And this is after workers reported a...
September 8th, y'all. It's September 23rd right now. Everybody, even me, I thought this was going to be an open and shut case. I'm like, man, okay, in the beginning, the first day, I was like, I could go either way, y'all. It could go either way. I don't want to put it on them just yet. It was only like 4 pieces of evidence that came out. But then, like, that same day or following day, like, so much hit the fan. As soon as they announced who the girl was, everything started hitting the fan. Everything. Then it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I mean? And I just knew at that point we would hear about an arrest coming. Because, you know, even messing with a minor, like something would come. Arrest for that, arrest for the murder, arrest for something. And still nothing, no arrest. Nothing has come yet, y'all. So I don't know. It's a head scratcher. What is going on?
A foul odor coming from a car. That car was a Tesla Cybertruck with Texas plates registered to David. It had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills and towed. Inside the front trunk, authorities discovered dismembered human remains wrapped in a bag. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner identified the body as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who had been missing from Riverside County since April of 2024. According to reporting from KTLA, the Cybertruck had been there for about 5 days. The medical examiner's office said that Celeste's body was badly decomposed and appeared to have been in the vehicle for an extended period of time. Now, Celeste's cause of death was listed as deferred, but around the time that she went missing in 2024, there were rumors that circulated that David was dating a teen girl named Celeste. This is according to screen captures of messages that were posted in 2023 in chat rooms, namely Discord. Now, Celeste, who had just turned 15 the day before her body was found, was remembered by family as a wonderful daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. Her brother previously told NBC Los Angeles that she disappeared after leaving the family home to see a movie with David. Reports also noted a striking detail, that Celeste had a tattoo on her finger reading "shh," and multiple photos showed David with a nearly identical tattoo on his hand.
I never heard that one before, that she left. I knew she left the house, and then her mom that was where she last seen her, but I didn't know it was she last seen her leaving the house to go to the movies with David. So she was leaving the house to go to the movies with David. That was the last time. That's a new detail. I didn't know that part.
Now, in the past week, both of David's remaining U.S. tour dates, San Francisco and Los Angeles, were canceled, along with at least 9 European shows that were listed on Ticketmaster, including an October 1st stop in Norway. A scheduled Grammy Museum appearance in Los Angeles was also pulled from the venue's website. His label, Interscope, later told TMZ that all promotion for David, including his deluxe album release, was being paused. And David, by the way, was also the face of a new collaboration between Hollister and Crocs. but he was scrubbed from the campaign
Damn.
just days after it was launched, according to the New York Post. Now, a spokesperson previously
Blew
told
it.
NBC News that David was cooperating with authorities, but to be clear, there's no formal arrests. Now, investigators are digging deeper into this case. We are too, and for that, I want to bring on a special guest. I want to bring in Matthew Irvine, who's a retired detective and law enforcement instructor. Thank you so much for coming in.
All right, we're going to get some real detective insight on what's going on and why. Please tell us why he's not arrested yet. Why wouldn't he be? You know what I'm saying? Let's see if he talks about it.
You're on Sidebar. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
So based on your experience, how do police, by the way, when they're dealing with, and I wonder if this is a big issue in LA, but how do police deal with prioritizing cases when you have a celebrity, a famous person linked in some way to a crime? How do they deal with that?
Well, ideally, there really shouldn't be any distinction based on the fame or wealth of the person implicated in a crime, whether they be the accused or the victim. In reality, there are always pressures that are brought to bear on investigators, be it from within their agency or from the media or the public. And the challenge for the investigator is to remember, as Harry Bosch says, everybody counts or nobody counts.
Yeah.
This is the first Bosch reference we've ever gotten on Sidebar, and you named it. Okay, when you're dealing with a body that's as decomposed as this, how do authorities analyze that evidence? How do they handle that evidence? And the idea that this body was severely decomposed, what does that tell you?
Well, it sounds like from the reporting we've heard so far, and again, I don't know anything about this case other than what's been publicly reported. It sounds like poor Celeste was likely in the front trunk of that vehicle for several weeks before her body was discovered. And there's even been reporting that she was dismembered. That certainly presents a challenge for the medical examiner and for investigators in terms of determining time and cause of death. Also raises some questions in terms of why the killer reportedly chose to dismember this young woman.
Yeah, that's what we want to know. Why cut her up? Why do that? What was that about? Such a young girl, why do you got to cut her up and then leave her in the trunk of the car? It just doesn't make sense, man. What is going on?
Sometimes the killer will dismember their victim because if they do that and disperse the remains over some space, and particularly if certain body parts aren't found, it makes it harder to identify the victim. Now, people that kill strangers don't usually need to worry about the victim being identified because there's nothing that connects to them. So the only time the identity of the victim is a problem for the killer is if there's some known relationship.
Also, Matthew, someone would have to have the means and the opportunity to dispose of a body in this fashion and be able to deposit the body in this car. That, I wonder, is that something investigators are looking into? How can someone have the ability to do something like this?
Right.
Who can have the means, the opportunity to do that, right?
Right.
Well, we have to kind of keep the Occam's razor principle in mind. I mean, this vehicle was registered to David Burke. It was apparently towed from across the street from a home that he was renting. So the simplest theory would be that this crime happened in or near the vehicle and likely by David or somebody close to him with access to the vehicle. That said, as an investigator, we have to keep in mind until the investigation is complete and all the facts are in that we don't know yet all the facts.
All the facts. This is why I keep telling you, you got to come with the facts before you can make an arrest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. There's something missing here. Something missing for him not to be arrested yet. What? That's what we want to know. We the people are all wondering, what the hell? Can y'all tell us something? Still to date, no police have came out and said anything. Everything has just been social media facts and Instagram and all that. Like, police still haven't came out and officially spoke, had a conference. Usually that's crazy, right? Because police usually do a conference, you know what I mean? And have the news come out with something so big and so viral and talk about it and update us on something or what's going on. Nothing. They haven't done none of that.
We need to think about what we don't yet know. And as an investigator, while you want to trust your intuition and the wisdom of your experience and your common sense, we have to remember that just because you did 100 of these cases and it always turned out this way and the answer was X, in this case, the answer could still be Y. So we have to keep an open mind. But certainly there's a lot of publicly available information that seems to point to the involvement of David Burke in the death of this child.
By the way, what causes decomposition and how quickly does it happen?
Decomposition is a natural process once the person is no longer alive, and it's affected by a lot of factors, including temperature and whether the body is protected in some way. In this case, in the front trunk of a vehicle in Los Angeles in the late summer, it's likely that decomposition would happen very rapidly.
I want to get into some of the key updates in this case from the last time we spoke. So, according to Forbes and ABC News, police executed a search warrant at a Hollywood Hills home on September 18th where David had been staying. They seized a computer, they seized other items of evidence. Sources told the Los Angeles Times that David had been renting the home, which the LAPD confirmed to Forbes was on Doheny Place. That's not far from where the Tesla was reportedly abandoned. And Matthew, actually, let's just start there. What does a search like that tell us about where investigators are focusing? How significant is it that they removed electronics and other materials from this property? What does this tell you?
Well, in order to get a search warrant, you need to be able to articulate to a judge that you have probable cause to believe crime has been committed and that evidence of that crime is going to be found in the place that you intend to search. So just because you search somebody's residence or vehicle or other property doesn't necessarily mean that that person is your suspect in the crime. It simply means that that place is likely to have evidence related to the crime. So certainly they had to meet that legal standard in order to execute the search warrant. And I'm sure that in addition to looking for physical evidence, forensic evidence within the residence, as you said, they are seizing electronic evidence. And that's going to be critical in this case. I mean, just from what's already been reported publicly, there seems to be a lot of online communication.
He for sure finna have hella shit on his computer. Hella shit in his phone, hella shit in his computer. He definitely seemed like there was an infatuation there with the girl. So they definitely gonna find some shit. If social media was able to put shit together and find shit, it's for sure finna be hella shit in his phone. And ain't no nigga, regardless if you delete it, it's still in your back end in your phone. Police can still get it. So yeah, they're gonna find hella shit on this nigga phone.
Between people who at least appear to be David and Celeste, going back maybe as far as 2022 when she was 11 or 12 years old. There's also a lot of communication, again, just being posted online between David and other parties that appear to have some knowledge, at least of his relationship with Celeste. So the timeline is going to be really important here. And the electronic record is going to be an important part of that timeline.
Right.
100%. And by the way, we also have to mention that while this was going on, deputies in Houston, they also confirmed to Click 2 Houston that they responded twice last week to David's Cypress, Texas home after security alarms were triggered. Now, the property records tie the house to a trust that resembles the name of his debut album, Petals to Thorns. There's no search.
Okay, so he got a house out there too. He got a house he's renting in LA and a house in Houston. Okay. All right.
Search warrants that have been executed there, which is interesting because, Matthew, how would law enforcement typically treat these kinds of security alerts in an ongoing investigation when you're talking about a different property? Are you surprised that property hasn't been searched yet?
Well, that's the first I'm hearing of this, but
me too. I didn't know that.
It's interesting to think that somebody may have tried to make entry to that property. That could be an effort by somebody to remove evidence that was there. That's the obvious connection to this Los Angeles-based investigation. As to search warrants, again, officer or detective needs to be able to articulate probable cause to a judge that there is evidence of a crime on those premises. And apparently at this point, they don't feel like they've got that.
Now, I want your perspective on this too. So TMZ obtained messages from a Discord moderator that was tied to David's online community. And the administrator insisted that they believed Celeste to be 18 or 19 years old and denied knowing that she was a missing, 15-year-old. Part of the message that was obtained by TMZ reads, "We, the Discord and Twitch staff teams, want to clarify what we knew and didn't know regarding Celeste. We were not aware of her true age or that she was a missing person. We also did not have any contact with her outside of what was made public. From what was shared in David's Twitch streams and from her role in the server, we understood her to be around 18 to 19. Now, it's not clear which
clean it up, Discord
administrator made this statement, but Matthew, that's interesting, right?
It is interesting, but I don't really know how relevant it is in terms of this criminal investigation. What's important is what David knew. And all the publicly available information appears to show that he knew her age, that he first communicated with her when she was a middle schooler, again, possibly 12 or 11 years old, and that when she left home with him. In the first part of last year, she was only 13. And as you know, we've been talking about her a lot as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And as you said, it's important to remember she never lived to see her 15th birthday.
Right.
She was found in the front trunk of that car the day after she should have turned 15. So this really is a child. And throughout her relationship with David, whatever it was, she was unquestionably a child.
Right.
And that's the point, because TMZ reports that there is this newly surfaced video that apparently shows David and Celeste together on a live stream interacting with fans. And in the clip, Celeste can be heard prompting David to respond to a comment. That video was recorded in January of 2024. You go back to that timeline, Matt.
Shit is so awkward how he was just openly with a minor, on live streams and all this, and nobody said nothing, all while she was missing and stuff like that. That don't make any sense. Like, what kind of world we living in, man, when y'all see a missing girl and y'all just sitting there chilling and not even reporting to the family? Like, golly.
Of when they said she went missing. Is that video going to be key for investigators?
Absolutely. And that's just one of many images, moving and still, that have been popping up all over social media in the last couple of weeks. There seems to be a really strong digital footprint showing them in various locations, backstage at his concerts, doing his live stream, and various still images taken in various places going back at least to early 2024. And again, as you said, that was several months before she left home, and while she was still very much a 13-year-old middle school kid.
Well, I tell you what, it's not just investigators looking into this. There have been a lot.
That shit sound crazy. Middle school. This nigga had a middle school girl, dog. Out of pocket.
A lot of online sleuths that have been digging into David's posts on social media as well as his songs to see if there's any clue about what might have happened here. There's an unreleased song that was leaked last week. It's reportedly called Celeste underscore demo unfin, as in, unfinished. This is according to KTLA and TMZ. And in David's biggest song called Romantic Homicide, David sings, "In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true." We all know whether or not lyrics will play a role in a criminal case is a controversial and constitutional issue as well. Just putting that to the side, though. In a 2022 interview, Forbes reports that Burke had said that those lyrics are figurative, saying, "I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died." Online sleuths have also uncovered a TikTok video made by another user, but it was apparently reposted by David, where the person in the video is chopping up chicken, and words on the screen read, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes." So David's label, Interscope Records, along with UMG, Sony Music Publishing, Wasserman, they have paused all promotional activities around his upcoming deluxe album and his...
Okay, so you paused all promotional activities. Basically, you put the album on hold. But at the same time, his streams are skyrocketing. His videos are skyrocketing, the numbers. Because you got to remember, a lot of people don't know who this guy is. So now with a case so viral and all these facts saying that the clues are in the music, it's making people driving traffic to his music, driving traffic to his music videos, which in turn is making the streams go up, which in turn is making the songs chart. It's crazy. And the labels are benefiting from it. And I don't think they're putting a stop to that at all. So it's like, what can they really do to stop that? But, they're winning in the end. They're winning in the end from this, as they always do. But yeah, man, let's keep listening.
Career overall, basically. His last Instagram post celebrates the release of the deluxe version of his album, Withered, which was supposed to come out on September 19th. Forbes reported it hasn't appeared on streaming services. Matthew, a few things here. First of all, the lyrics, I mentioned, I've talked about cases involving musicians and criminal cases and whether or not the lyrics can be introduced into evidence as intent, or it shows their knowledge or what have you. But do you think that there's something of value there, or are people maybe reading into it too much?
I think there's certainly something of value. I mean, we need to be careful in treating song lyrics as autobiographical or
Right.
confessional.
Right.
Johnny Cash saying that he shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, and nobody thinks Johnny Cash killed anybody. Um, but as you said, it's the totality of what he is putting out there, not just the lyrics to Celeste or Romantic Homicide, but the posts of chopping chicken. There's another post that had to do with jealous rage when he finds out she's had prior relationships. He created a sort of alter ego for his latest album and tour called Itami, who is pictured in a blood spattered shirt. And David Burke described him as in an interview as his sort of evil homicidal alter ego. Supposedly, there's a video for Romantic Homicide that shows Itami murdering a girl. So, is it proof of anything? No.
What's his whole infatuation with death, though, is what I want to know. Like, where'd that come from? Like, all this death. You know what I mean? But, hey, man, these little young kids are dark, man. He's a Fortnite kid. I don't know where he picked up the death and all this walking his side character with bloody attire and loves death and burying people. And, like, that's a very dark young man.
But it's certainly information, and it's certainly part of the total picture that investigators and prosecutors are going to have to look at.
Why do you think there's been a full stop pause on his career? Is it because, hey, listen, from a PR perspective, from an optics point of view, as this investigation's going on, we as a business, we can't continue to promote his music. We can't, have any role in this whatsoever. We want to distance ourselves. We want to let this cool off. Or does it signal to you that there is something going on in the investigation, that there is a development, that something is about to happen? It would help in the sense, now you know where he is, and if you need to further question him, he's not going on tour.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's not leaving the U.S. As to the sort of business decisions, I mean, he right now looks like somebody who's in a lot of trouble. All the available information right now seems to point to him. I can't imagine any publicity conscious business wanting to continue an association with him or wanting to promote him at this time. That, though, is a different calculus than is he guilty of homicide, and can that be proven beyond a reasonable doubt? So there's the optics right now.
The optics, all signs point to him, which is what I said earlier. Until somebody comes out and say there's another player involved, there's another person involved, I think that'll then make people be like, because right now it only looks like the people involved is the rest in peace to her, Celeste, and him. So if she get killed, guess who people gonna say? Him. It's who else could it be? It's only him. Until they present another player in the mix. We haven't heard about a roommate. We haven't heard about a best friend. We haven't heard about a stalker. We haven't heard about none of the other options that typically could play in place. It's just him and her. So you're looking crazy right now, man. That's why we don't understand where is the arrest at. I don't know. So obviously they don't have something. If they haven't made an arrest, they don't have something on him. Something, I don't know. It'll soon come out.
Which seem to point very strongly to his guilt. That may yet prove to be the case, but we're still a long way off from, even at this point, apparently probable cause to arrest, much less guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
We got to talk about this next development. It's pretty wild, okay? A Southern California teacher, who has, by the way, not yet been named by law enforcement, apparently revealed in a TikTok video that Celeste had once been his student at Lakeland Village Middle School. In that video, which was recorded by a student in his class, he can be heard recounting that Celeste allegedly told other students that she met David online, again, when she was 13 years old, ran away with him, was eventually found by police in Hollywood, and then disappeared again in 2024, May of 2024.
Wow.
And the teacher said that he even spoke with students at the time who told them that she had been in contact with David. TMZ says...
Wait. So she went missing before and was found in Hollywood. This is right here. Found in Hollywood. Was it at that house? Right at David's house in Hollywood he was renting? And then she went back home, ran away again, and now this time she got found in Hollywood, but dead and dismembered and decomposed. That is chilling. That is chilling. Was it first time the same house? Interesting.
They spoke with this teacher who told them that he shared this story with his class as a cautionary tale about the dangers of social media. Matthew, given this teacher's account or alleged account of Celeste, running away, her interactions with David, what are the challenges that this type of information may present for investigators? How seriously do law enforcement agencies weigh this kind of statement?
So, a video taken by a student of a middle school teacher in his classroom is not in itself proof of anything. It's information. It's not evidence. Question is, can this teacher's account be corroborated in other ways? And again, a lot of what's coming out now is just coming out on social media. And sometimes it's multiple levels of hearsay, somebody posting on TikTok, something that they are screenshotting off of Reddit or Discord. But it seems like the family is also telling authorities that indeed Celeste left home initially in April of 2024. That's when that missing poster was created that describes her as leaving home, last seen wearing Hello Kitty sandals, that she came back for about a month or so, and that she left again in May, and that she was last seen by the family going someplace with David. So if that is indeed what the family is saying, as has been reported, that would jibe exactly with what this teacher is alleging.
This is crazy.
And that is useful information for authorities when it's not just alleged, but also corroborated.
And the fact that this information surfaced on social media, does that affect how investigators handle it?
Because there's a lot of stuff on social media. They for sure got to fish through what's real, what's fake. Because you know how I go. Them trolls kick in. They start dropping fake stuff all in here in the mix. So it can get a little overwhelming. You know what I mean?
It's funny. In trying to educate myself about this case, I realize that most of the up-to-date and detailed reporting is on social media, on Reddit, on Discord, on TikTok, on Instagram. And that is a challenge for investigators because these are new media formats, quite frankly. A lot of robbery homicide detectives are middle-aged people like myself who aren't really savvy in these newer forms of media. So I would absolutely hope that there is attached to this investigation somebody who is a lot more social media savvy and probably, frankly, a whole lot younger than me, because that's really what this investigation is going to have to include in order to really stay on top of all the leads.
Yeah, and trying to corroborate that story would be interesting too. Could the TikTok post itself be treated as potential evidence? Is it just more of a lead that they then follow? What do you think?
It's all potentially evidence. Again, the question is, can it be verified? Can it be corroborated? There's a whole lot of stuff out there. Like I said, some of it is second and even third hand. It's TikTokers reposting things from Discord or things from Reddit. And so all of that is not inherently all that reliable. But if it matches what Celeste's family shares, what Celeste's friends are able to corroborate, what David's digital footprint informs them of, what the forensic evidence shows, now you're starting to put together a case.
Now here's the point. Through all of this, Celeste's family is left grieving. In a message that was posted alongside a GoFundMe campaign, the Rivas Hernandez family wrote, "As many of you know, Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been identified as the body found last week. She was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. Her family is heartbroken and devastated by this tragic loss. They are seeking help to lay her body to rest. Any funds you are able to donate are greatly appreciated." Matthew, do you think an arrest is imminent here? I mean, we started this case off by there was a question of whether or not they'd be even able to identify.
Damn, bro. See, that's the thing. Like, we've been talking so much about David and Celeste. Imagine the parents, how they feel. Look, you can make your assessments and thoughts. I have heard people say, oh, the parents didn't care. Oh, the parents this, the parents that. You don't know. Just because a girl ran away and was gone for so long and all this, you don't know. The parents probably was looking. They just didn't know what it looked. They probably was trying to reach out. Nobody answered. It was a lot that could go on as a parent. They probably was in connection with the police. And the police probably was saying, hey, this is why we can't proceed. This is why it happens, man. So it's not cool just to jump at the parents without knowing the facts. If they were looking for her, if they were, you know what I mean? Which I feel they were. Like, why wouldn't you be looking for your daughter? Especially gone for a year. That's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And then to find her dead, like, come on. Nobody wants to find their kid dead, especially 14, 15-year-old, and not in this fashion, like decomposed, chopped up in the hood of a trunk. Like, as a parent, bro, you never gonna be right in your head. You lost your kid that way. It's one thing to lose your kid to health reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, natural causes, but on some crime shit like that, like, that's crazy. Some psycho killer shit. Ugh, that's sad, man. That's sad.
The human remains came from the tattoo. They were able to ultimately identify this body as belonging to as that of Celeste. Do you think that there's going to be an arrest soon?
I can't speak to the timeline of an arrest. I would say this, that the men and women in LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division are the best of what they do. They're handpicked from an agency of 9,000 or so officers. In terms of the urgency to make an arrest, is there a public safety risk here? There doesn't appear to be. Is there a flight risk here? Apparently not. As you said, they know where he is, and he's not going to be able to go anywhere. So the caution would seem to be the best course of action here. This is a case that you want to put together rock solid, bulletproof before you make an arrest. And I imagine that's what the folks in robbery homicide are doing. I also wanted to thank you for saying what you did about the Rivas Hernandez family, because we are, as a society, fascinated with true crime, and that's
right,
understandable.
Facts.
Often fascinating cases, but we're only able to tell these stories. We only hear these stories because, as you said, somebody has been terribly harmed, and the people that love them are grieving. And so we need to keep that in mind and not aggrandize or mythologize the people that do this harm.
Yeah.
But instead, keep our focus on the victims and the people that love them.
I appreciate that. This is a tragedy. This is a real loss. They were experiencing it each and every day. And let me tell you, as the investigation continues, and if there's an arrest, the legal process begins, that pain only gets worse, because now they have to live through it and they have to learn more details about the crime. And that's really, really tough. But at the same point, we're trying to amplify it. If people have information, know something, that's what investigators need at this point. And even like we talk about something like the teacher, will that play into evidence? Will that be a factor? Will that be part of the investigation? We shall see.
Does that come off kind of crazy that the teacher was talking to the kids at school about this, like, in detail, and like presenting evidence to the kids? Like, she told me she was with this, or I saw her with David. Like, should the teacher be telling that to the kids, though? Like, if you're going to break that news, like, tell it to the parents or tell it to the police officers, if that's what your thing is. Like, I don't feel like sharing those details and that story with the kids was necessary. To sit there and present some evidence that nobody knew, that's kind of weird. Like, wait, so you've been holding on shit and you ain't said nothing to the parents? Why are you telling the students before you even tell the parents? That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, that angle. Like, why are the students getting groundbreaking information that the parents never got first? Or maybe the parents did. Who knows? All right. There we go, man. So we learned some new facts. We learned a little bit of new details. And everybody is sitting around wondering, like I am, when will an arrest be made, or when will a second suspect be announced? If there is one, is there one? But as the detective said right here, they don't want to do nothing and jump the gun and make an arrest too soon so that they don't, he could get up out of there. They could wrongfully arrest him and he could get up out of there with lack of evidence. They want to make sure they got a strong case. They want to make sure they have strong facts. They want to follow his digital footprint. They want to follow all the stuff they know about her, all the stuff they know about him, put it all together. And let's carve out any other suspects, and let's dial in on him if that's the case. So I don't know, man. We'll definitely do a play-by-play. We'll keep y'all up to date. Just keeping me up to date at the same time while I'm keeping y'all up to date. So let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know if y'all heard something new in the comment section, man. What have y'all heard? What do y'all think will happen? Do y'all think he is guilty at this point? Or do y'all think, hey, wait a minute, they're taking too long, maybe he's not? Let me know in the comment section, smash the like button, and as always, get ready for the next reaction.